7th, and this is the plant-based morning show presented by Compliment. Lovecompliment.com is the place to go to get all that good vegan supplement goodness. And then if you want to win a giveaway, win a trip, vegan, I don't know, all inclusive. I don't know if it's all inclusive or not, but a really nice trip to a plant-based resort. You go to nomeatathlete.com/escape and you can enter to win that plus other great prizes. All right, I'm adding Doug in. He's laughing at my smooth intro there. All right, is it working? Don't know. One more try.
I'm in, Matt. Okay. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you doing, Doug?
I'm doing pretty well. I want to clarify a few things there.
With the lawyers listening, I hope they didn't hear that.
It's not a giveaway. It's a sweepstakes.
Okay, sweepstakes.
An important distinction, right? Which I don't know the difference, but it is important to say.
Did the lawyers say we had to say that in exchange for making it open to Canada? We had to
open to Canada. Yeah,
we had to give them...
and it's pretty much all inclusive. You got your meals included. You got your non-alcoholic drinks included. Travel, of course. Your hotel stay, all that stuff is included. So I mean, it's a really awesome sweepstakes to the Mayan jungle in Mexico, to this incredible freshwater blue lake at an eco boutique resort. And throw all kinds of little adjectives in front of that. And Eco Lux boutique,
like
mountain. No, that's not a good one. I don't know. Right. I lost you on Instagram. Are you giving up on Instagram?
No, I'm on there. Can you hear me? Is it not working?
You there?
How about now? Yep.
No, Instagram shut down. I think you ended it.
No, I didn't. But
let me try joining again.
Yeah, just you just look frozen on there. I'm sure I might as well.
Okay.
To you.
We'll see if this works.
Oh, now you're requesting to get in again. Okay, let me add you in. Sorry for the tech issues, everyone. We've come to expect them and live with them. And okay, seems like it didn't work. Did it work for you? Now it says you joined.
I'm back in.
All right, great.
So, but the big thing I want to say is that yesterday I announced it's U.S. and Canada. It is still U.S. and Canada. Not backtracking on that. But there was some reports that people in Canada were having some issues, and we seem to have cleared that up with the sweepstakes software that we use. So if you had any trouble yesterday, Mr. Jeffrey in particular, go now to nomeatathlete.com/escape. Put your name in the hat. You might as well. There's nothing to lose here. Even if you don't win the trip, they're giving away a lot of compliment products, a free ebook from some of our partners, all kinds of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. We can say nothing to lose. That's all right.
Nothing to lose. Yeah, there's nothing to lose.
Sounds like
only gain, only upside.
Okay. There's your time, and we won't get into that. Okay, I've got concussion update. My daughter does in fact have a concussion, according to the doctor anyway. Or I did have a concussion, I guess is what it was. So that's a bummer. But the good news is she's home today and maybe even tomorrow, and no soccer and all these things. So it actually feels today like a snow day because my son happens to also be off, and no one had to get up this morning early, although we still did because of the dogs. But I don't know. It's kind of nice times, but still, I feel bad for her.
So she did have a concussion, is that what you said?
She did, yes. The doctor said yes, and she still has a headache, so I assume that's right. So that's no good, but just part of being a parent. We're like a concussion family now. We have both kids have had concussions.
Did you ever have concussions reported?
No,
confirmed concussions.
I never did. I mean, obviously, people didn't really care about them the way they do now. Back then, so I'm sure a lot of people had concussions that went undiagnosed, as they still do, but many more than people just didn't care. But I don't remember my sister or I ever having any kind of head thing where it was like more than just a knock on the head that hurt. I don't know. What about you? You do
I think undiagnosed, but I think I had one. I was slipped on a pool deck, knocked my head really bad. Was very out of it for a long time, and
right.
But at that point, you just didn't really go to the doctor for that kind of thing.
No, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have. I was debating whether to talk about this because I don't like to be too negative on this podcast. But it feels real. So I'm gonna talk about it. I feel like I'm in my dip of my training cycle here. As I've announced here, I'm training for a 50K at the end of October and a 100K a couple weeks later in November. And I think I've hit my dip. And mentally, I'm still pretty committed, or I'm definitely committed, but I'm still like excited about it. But my body just feel like my legs aren't rebounding the way they were earlier. I don't feel like I'm getting stronger. Got all these little aches and pains that I didn't have a couple weeks ago, and I'm getting discouraged. And this is I'm giving my own training a downward facing dog.
Yeah, I mean, this is what downward facing dog was meant to be. It was meant to be you genuinely sad about something going on, not airing dirty laundry or complaining, shouting out companies and stuff. So yeah, this is a downward facing Doug. This is what the segment was meant to be. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Doug. That's too bad. You think it's possibly a function of getting older, and in the past you could withstand a long training cycle?
I wondered about that. So I was running this morning, and I was doing this kind of road loop that I've been doing a lot throughout this training. It's 5 miles, but it has about 1,000 feet of gain. So it's a nice, tough little loop. And I just was having so much trouble going up the hill, like feeling like it was harder this week than it was 3 weeks ago. And I don't know. I mean, like it has to be that maybe my body just needs a little more time to recover, or maybe this is the first real training cycle I've been in a number of years for this long. And so maybe it's just like I need to readjust back to it. I don't know, but
maybe that.
Definitely a little discouraging.
Yeah. Well,
Mr. Jeffrey asked if anything changed in my nutrition. The only thing is the creatine, and because I was thinking about that as well, and I was like, could the creatine have something to do with any? But I don't think so. I feel like it would help.
My mom says take some creatine. She and I have been talking a lot about creatine recently. Apparently,
she says take the creatine. Yeah, so
but he already is, and she knows that. She knows you're taking creatine already.
But it's only been about what, like 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Dr. Greger recently put out a video showing how creatine has been shown to help people, older people with sarcopenia, which is muscle loss. So it's a nice thing for if you're not trying, even if you're not trying to bulk up, you still preservation of muscle is a good thing. So creatine could be good for that. And that's why my mom and I have been talking about it. Anyway, I don't think it would make any really even a positive difference in training. Like I don't think typically indoor. I remember I asked Scott Jurek or somebody about this a long time ago, and they said no, they don't do that. That's just one person, but still, I thought a vegan might be particularly likely to. And I may not even be remembering that correctly, so don't quote me on that. Anyway, though, it could add water weight, and I don't know. I know you don't have a scale in your house. You wouldn't do that. You're above having a scale. But if you've put on some water, added 5 pounds of water weight, that might suddenly make it feel like you've hit a little bit of a wall, especially with all these uphills you're trying to do.
It's possible. I think I've trimmed some fat. I know that. I can see that in the mirror. Okay. I may have that, not necessarily a reflection of weight, of course, but trim some fat.
Right. I don't know. Emery says getting old isn't for sissies. I've heard that quote said a different way. And I mean, I've noticed similar as far with weight training. Like it just the thing I noticed faster is how quickly you lose the muscle when you don't continue working out. When I was younger, it was easier to take a few weeks off and come back basically the same. But you lose it quickly, and I guess that's a good thing. Your body's trying to do something, right? It's trying to not hang on to unneeded muscle. But and then it takes a while to gain it. It's just it's a real thing. So I don't know. I wouldn't call it age related yet, Doug. I'd say keep looking
going.
For some other
I mean, I do think. I mean, there's usually a time, like right when the distance really starts to ramp up, and that it just kind of gets harder. It gets mentally harder. It gets a little physically harder.
Yeah, right.
And
especially first one in a while. That could just be tough.
I'm about to hit. I'm gonna have over 30,000 feet of gain in September. So that feels cool. Good.
It's like an airplane flight. Steven
Man, I could have done that in like 5 minutes on an airplane.
Right. Yeah. You've hit cruising altitude.
Did you know that Here's a fun fact. It's monarch season right now. They're migrating up north from Mexico, and they're stopping in Black Mountain.
Okay.
Not all of them, of course, but there's a lot of monarch butterflies passing through right now. And did you know how high they fly? What's your guess? How high does a monarch butterfly fly when they're migrating?
I mean, I probably would have said they don't ever get above like 30 feet.
3,000 to 4,000 feet.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's crazy? That is crazy. I would think the winds would just prevent them from doing anything. Maybe they get up into the wind and that helps
and they
them.
just like use the wind.
Do they go in a direction that the wind would help them? I guess they're heading north now. They're heading south now, right? For winter.
Yeah. But no, I thought that was totally crazy. Yeah.
That is really crazy. I'm surprised they would have the strength and endurance to get that high up and then come back down. But I guess they don't have much weight. Good. Fun fact. I like that. Hey, I need to apologize. I literally just forgot entirely to put the episode up yesterday. As I was gloating about having done so the previous week. I went to bed last night. It was like 10:30. I was lying there. I was like, oh man, I forgot to put that thing up. So I did it this morning.
After a year, the habit would be reinforced.
Yeah, somehow I don't know. I feel like we've gotten a little bit more lackadaisical in the past month. Speaking of which, what is the YouTube thumbnail you put up? I try to match the title to the thumbnail, and I can't figure out what that thing is yesterday. There's no text on the thing, which is laziness, first of all. And it's an image. It looks like it's just like a close up of something that you just can't tell what it is.
It's a menu.
That was a menu? And I had no idea that was a menu.
It's a woman holding a menu.
All right. Well, how about some text on there? So YouTubers can see that and be like, "Can you believe?"
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wait,
I can
they
see
put
that.
What on the menu? Like all caps.
Okay. The text overlay. I just never know if it was gonna work or not, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. No one really goes back and watches those YouTube videos. It appears, no matter what. We do, so it doesn't matter too much. But anyway, so I did put the episode up this morning, and it's probably live now.
Oh, I just saw sorry, I'm looking at our YouTube page. There's one from 5 months ago where you have your blonde hair. I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember that phase? That was fun.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Your in sync phase.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not sure if I'm going to put today's. I'll probably just keep with the pattern now so that I don't put 2 up today. Because if I do that, nobody will listen to the earlier one today. So I probably will remain a day behind this week, but then I'll get back on next week. Okay. Only other news I have is that I last night cooked from Issa Does It, one of our shared favorite cookbooks. Yeah. I cooked I think it's called beefy asparagus stir fry or something like that.
Okay.
And it's seitan and asparagus. Seitan. But I made the seitan at home from scratch because I can't really find it in stores anymore. I can't find like regular seitan. I used to get that in Whole Foods in Asheville, but I haven't really found it anywhere since. Like just good old shredded seitan or a loaf of seitan. You have to always buy these like expensive kind of things that are in the shape of hot dogs and then chop those up. So anyway, I made it myself using Viva Vegan, Terry Hopomero's book. She has some recipes in there for seitan. And it was really simple. It turned out great. I loved the homemade seitan. It was better than I thought than a usual seitan. So that's worth doing if you've never done it before. You buy some wheat gluten and a few other little spices and things and mix it with water. It's really not much, and then steam it. So if you're looking for a little fun thing to do, that's
form it into a little ball and then steam it.
Yep. In this one, you form into one big ball, then you let it rest for a little bit. Cut it into 4 loaf things, and then you steam those for a few minutes or 20 minutes, and then you're done. Then you have your own homemade seitan. So anyway, if you're looking
where do you get wheat gluten? Like what part of the grocery store?
Like in the baking aisle, where you'd find like the Bob's Red Mill things. It's not always that brand. You can get different brands that are less expensive, but that kind of stuff. And I think it came out significantly cheaper than the seitan packs would.
Yeah,
because I think I would have paid $8 or $10 for the amount of seitan that came out of this, and it took 45 minutes to make. So anyway, if you're looking for something to do, it reminded me of pasta making. It was the sort of thing where you make this thing from nothing, from flours, and then you feel good about the end product. So if you're looking for a fun thing, or not fun, fulfilling thing, make some seitan. Look up how to do it and make it. Yeah. Okay, good. With that, let's jump into our weather report, which is lengthy today. I'm probably not going to cover the whole thing because we have an irresistible article to get to later on, which teaser why you shouldn't make your bed within 30 minutes of waking. Shouldn't. Contrary to
Do
all
not
these
make your bed.
military, whatever they are, military inspired books about how important to making your bed in the morning. I think one is called Make Your Bed. And we've talked about that a lot as a happiness hack.
Yeah.
People who make their bed are happier. But now the key is don't do it in the first 30 minutes. We'll get to why in a minute. All right. So for our weather report, I don't think we're going to have success with the sound machine today. Yeah, it's not me. It's myinstance.com. We need.
I don't know, man. It kind of starting to feel like you.
Unless the computers just went bad and just can't run this page anymore. But anyway, there's no music today.
Okay.
So here we go. Wednesday, September 27th. The demand for instant noodles is up 2.6% globally, 121.2 billion servings last year. Inflation drove up the food prices, and therefore people went ahead and ate more instant noodles because they were way cheaper. I don't think this 2.6% increase is on a dollar basis. I think it's the amount of servings consumed, because then the inflation wouldn't really be. I mean, that would be the whole cause there. So anyway, so that happened. Popular in China and other Asian countries, but this is from Morning Brew. Big Slurp is gaining ground in North America too. What is Big Slurp? Is that a brand or a flavor or something, or is that slang for this?
I've never heard of it.
Maybe someone can tell us what Big Slurp means. I have a feeling it's some kind of millennial slang or something for instant noodles.
It appears to be. No, I don't know. I'm not sure. A bunch of YouTube videos came up, so maybe it's this.
I thought it was like a big gulp, but like a Slurpee, like a 7-Eleven big. If you would give me multiple choice, that's what I would have chosen at the beginning. But I'm guessing it's not that based on context.
Are you an instant noodle guy?
No, I mean I haven't eaten instant noodles in since I was probably in high school or middle school.
Okay.
Why? You?
Well, so I mean, you know how much I love my pad thai mid-miler, right? That's an instant noodle dish. I just looked it up. It's the
I don't think I knew
Dr. McDougall's.
McDougal, like the guy we know, like McDougal.
No, I don't think so.
Vegan guy.
I don't think so.
He likes starches and stuff.
His face is on there, but I don't know. I mean, you can get it at Ingles. It's just, I mean, it's like an instant.
Yeah, this is him. That's him.
That's him?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. They have a pad thai one that I will get, and I also take it camping sometimes if I if I need just to have as backup. So that I do that, and actually randomly out of nowhere last week, Katie came home with a couple packs of instant ramen, and we ditched the seasoning packs and just used the noodles. And made a ramen dish, and it was delicious. It was so good, and I'm like, why do we never think to do this? Because it was so easy and cheap. So,
yeah, I mean, you can buy ramen noodles like without any seasoning. I guess this would have been cheaper to do that.
I don't know. I wasn't at the grocery store. I don't know if she couldn't find the ramen noodles or if it was cheaper to do it this way. But
yeah. I made pad thai on Sunday night, by the way. I made it from Vegan for Everyone, and it was really good. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I once, when I was a young child in middle school, put a cup of noodles, not just not those plastic bags. Put that in the microwave without any water in it. I forgot to put the water in and started a fire.
Well, it's also styrofoam, right? I mean,
you're not supposed to put it in meant to. I think it was.
I don't know. Those cup of noodles you're supposed to pour hot water into. Let it sit.
Okay. Then, well, at my family, we didn't know that. We just put the styrofoam in, but we put it with water in, and this day I forgot, and it started a fire.
Oh no, that's funny.
Yeah,
the cup of noodles, and if you're in a real pinch, I don't know if cup of noodles are vegan, so I'm not going to say that. But I used to do this in college sometimes. Because you can get them at a gas station, and they have the hot water dispensers for tea, like with the coffee machine,
right?
So you can pay 89 cents for a cup of noodles, and it's a meal.
Yeah,
you just make it right there in the gas station.
Yeah,
I have no idea if they're vegan though.
So
I'm sure that some of them are probably, but some of them aren't.
Yeah, we do I'm going to say propose my family does 2 months where we only eat that, and we just stack up money that we don't spend on food.
I mean, it is ridiculously
right.
Instant ramen is $1, I think. And then if you throw in some tofu or a can of beans, something like that, you got a $2 meal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not the worst thing in the world you could eat. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's good for you, but it wouldn't be the worst.
I think they're loaded in sodium.
Yes,
So
I'm sure they are.
So
better would be to do your move of don't use the seasoning.
Or you just don't use the whole pack of seasoning, because the cup of noodles come pre-seasoned, but the instant ramen in like a little pack,
right?
Do not.
That doesn't. Right.
So you could just dump a little bit of the seasoning.
That would be good. All right. According to Reddit, you shouldn't heat styrofoam in the microwave because it heats up to levels where toxic substances, styrenes, can leach into your food. So, wish I would have known that when I was younger. Who knows how many of those we did. All right. On to the next one. This is kind of exciting. Impossible Foods has partnered with IHOP. Sort of sounds a lot like the partnering with Cracker Barrel to bring plant-based sausage patties and burgers to a new demographic. They're trying to go after the flexitarians and the omnivores here and show them that these plant-based meats and sausages can be good. It's the Impossible Sausage Patties as part of the classic breakfast menu, or dinner Impossible Burger Patty on any of the restaurant's steak burgers. So that's kind of like every other restaurant where you can substitute Impossible. 1,700 locations across the U.S. for IHOP. So this is a large increase in the visibility of Impossible Foods and probably to a lot of people who've not been exposed to it. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's really good. I just looked it up. IHOP pancakes are not vegan, but they have vegan hash browns, avocado toast. You can get
actual vegan, like they're not made on the same griddle.
I don't know about that. Vegan-friendly breakfast options: hash browns, avocado toast, juice, coffee.
Avocado toast, that's a good option. I bet you weren't an IHOP guy. I bet you were more like Huddle House or Waffle House.
I was a Waffle House guy.
No. Yeah, I would always have chosen Waffle House if I had the choice. But we didn't get to it that much. Okay. Plant-based fat startup Lipid, LYPID, has introduced 2 new pork belly products that they debuted at the Plant-Based World Expo 2023 in New York City, where they secured first place in the Taste Challenge for plant-based foods within the meat category. I think they also went to Expo East recently. Anyway, pork belly is something I never had. I know it's kind of like a delicacy for foodies. It's always like you just add it to a dish. It's almost like bacon where you add it to it and then suddenly it's leveled up in goodness. But I can't ever find a vegan product that is fatty and also meaty that you would use like in a pasta dish or something where you need that, especially at the beginning of the dish when you want that kind of to be the cooking fat. There's not one. I use the tofurkey stuff a lot, but it's just not that good. Doesn't do the job.
Yeah.
So I would actually be really excited to get my hands on this. I don't think I would ever eat it like just a big piece of it, but I don't know. I guess I could if it was that good. Anyway, they had a smoked pork belly pizza and a noodle dish, a pork belly noodle dish. But what I'm confused about here is, so the new products they have rolled out or introduced are the Lipid smoked pork belly and the Lipid braised pork belly. So they're just 2 different types of pork belly preparations, I guess. And now, I don't know, all these different suggestions. So it's the food service industry where they introduce this too. So I don't think we will be able to get our hands on it just yet, but hopefully they'll sell it at home. Can you like go to a grocery store and buy regular pork belly, or is that just like a restaurant only thing?
Oh, no, I'm sure you can.
You can.
Yeah. At the butcher section?
Yeah, probably. What I really need to know is a lot of Italian dishes call for guanciale, which is pork cheeks. And I have to imagine it's not that different from pork belly, but I need someone like Mr. Jeffrey to tell me if that's the case or not. Because I'd be able to make 10 things that I currently can't make if I could get my hands on good vegan guanciale substitute. Okay, so, moving on.
I missed it. It'll be available in the U.S. or no?
Well, at least in food service categories or food service places. So I don't know about the grocery stores yet.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeffrey says it's very different. Pork.
Very different. Okay, well, that's too bad. All right, here's another one for Mr. Jeffrey, though. Hershey Canada has officially introduced their first plant-based chocolate bar, the Hershey's Oatmade, it's called. 2 flavors, creamy is one, almond and sea salt is the other. Fully vegan formulation. The interesting part is that the core ingredient of these plant-based bars is oat flour. So it's not like, there's no mention here of oat milk. I didn't see the ingredient list, but it sounds like maybe they're kind of using whole oat flour and therefore don't eat oat milk because whatever goodness they get from oats is already in the oat flour. I didn't know chocolate bars came with flour at all. I thought they were just cocoa and I don't know, whatever else, milk. But I don't know. They're based on oat flour. So anyway, it follows the successful, they're calling the introduction of the plant-based chocolate bar and the Reese's plant-based peanut butter cups in the US successful. So that's a good thing. I never saw the peanut butter cups. Never once have I seen them. I don't really go often to the CVS's or wherever they were, but I don't see them in grocery stores or anywhere else. So
I found them at CVS and at a grocery store, but in both cases it was like $4.50, and I couldn't justify
for one Reese's?
For like 2 cups.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I mean, it may have been like $4. I mean, but it was too much for me to be like, oh, this will be a fun treat.
Right. I mean, $2.50 would be the max I would go on that, I think.
Yeah.
That's too much. Anyway, it was successful though, apparently, and now they're doing this in Canada, and they point out later in this article, I think it was Veg Economist, that Canada is really seeing a bit of a boom in interest in plant-based foods. Kind of like Europe has, but maybe not quite to that extent, but they're definitely getting more than we are. So good for you, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a couple more here, and then we'll move on. JBS, which is a meatpacking powerhouse, they have begun construction on a $62 million research facility in Brazil focused on cell-based meat production. So they are clearly diversifying. They've also begun construction earlier this year on what they claim is the world's largest cultivated beef plant in Spain. So, I mean, I think this is a really good thing. I'm not really sure, but I think that these big meat packing and meat sellers are diversifying into the plant-based or the cultivated categories. They really have bad practices, and that's what some later weather report stuff is. I probably won't get to till later about child labor and about animal abuse, of course, which happens, but at least in sort of a real legal fashion, they're getting in trouble for it. So, like, you know, is the fact that they start having cultivated meat, like what if they were 100% cultivated meat? Does that mean they're going to get away from the child labor stuff, or is it still the same bad people in charge? They're going to do the same bad stuff. I don't know about that. But I guess this is a good thing. I think this is a good thing, at least a good sign of the growth potential.
Yeah, it's a good sign, I guess. But I mean, it was the same way as like Tyson's getting into vegan burgers, right? Like,
right.
And then, you know, because they jumped in when everybody was doing vegan, you know, burgers, and now they're kind of backpedaled. I don't know that it is a good thing.
They're still in it, I think. They just changed the brand name or didn't put Tyson on it or something.
I don't know. I guess it's a good thing, but better would be a brand or a company that, in my opinion, that have made this their mission, and that their mission was to change everything.
Right. Yeah, it'd be great if we didn't have these huge giant companies in charge of things. But yeah, but since we do, I think it's a good sign for sure.
It is a good sign, yeah.
All right.
Good. Before we move on, there's a couple comments here.
Okay.
Annie Amato says, I didn't like the peanut butter cups. Unreal Injustice.
I heard a few people not like them that much.
Mm-hmm.
I think I tasted a bite of one because my sister-in-law got them and gave them to us. And I thought it was pretty good. I could tell it was different, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah. And Mr. Jeffrey says the oat flour is basically just dehydrated oat milk. So assuming they're placing the milk powder with oat powder, basically.
Is that true? I thought oat flour had like all kinds of fiber in it that they don't get into the milk. I'm not sure.
I don't know. And he also said that no one will make a vegan pork cheek.
No?
But I don't know if that's true, because we did find someone's making a vegan cow stomach.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? I wouldn't rule anything out. Much as I'm bearish on the whole plant-based meat category, they seem to be just searching for new versions of it to make. Okay. Moving on here. Turmeric. We kind of already knew this, but at least in this case, it's for indigestion. This is from Plant-Based News. It could be as effective as over-the-counter medicine for treating indigestion, according to this new study published in BMJ Evidence-Based Medicine. And what they did, one group in their study took 2 capsules of curcumin 4 times a day. Curcumin is the compound in turmeric that makes it orange and is thought to be the powerhouse. And they took a small placebo. The other group took 1 20 milligram capsule of omeprazole. I don't know what that is or if I'm saying it right. They took that and 2 placebo capsules. So I guess they were trying to make the groups have similar size capsules throughout the day. And one group took the curcumin and omeprazole together. They found all the groups showed improvements in their indigestion. No significant differences between any of them, and that's therefore kind of a positive result for the turmeric, because the turmeric / curcumin, you could just go on a full regimen of that, skip the pharmaceutical thing, and be all good as far as indigestion goes.
Yeah.
So I guess this is good. I mean, they mentioned some limitations. Small study conducted over a short period of time. And the other
Can
thing,
you just eat turmeric, or do you have to get the
curcumin?
Concentrated curcumin?
There's interesting stuff about turmeric. Like Gregor had a study talked about a study where they tested whole turmeric with the curcumin removed versus the extracted curcumin, basically the stuff that was extracted. They separated the two things, tried them against each other for some purpose. I forget what it was. And the whole turmeric with the curcumin removed outperformed the curcumin, even though curcumin is thought to be the main thing. So the point of that study, I think, was to demonstrate that you still need the whole food. It's really important, all the other stuff in there. But yeah, curcumin is usually what you get. Now, I still think there are some benefits to getting a whole lot more, or you can certainly get a whole lot more if you do that, if you extract it. And there's always the take with black pepper thing to like 20x your absorption. But the thing is, like, turmeric is so potent. Gregor has warned against getting too much at once. So like, just because you can take this in place of a pharmaceutical, yes, it's probably a better alternative because it is natural, but like, it's still possible that if you were taking this all the time to treat indigestion because of some other dietary problem that's causing all this indigestion, you might not be doing a good thing for yourself, just taking tons of turmeric all the time. But as far as compared to omeprazole, probably a good move.
According to Carmen, those medications have an increased risk of Alzheimer's. Whereas turmeric does the opposite.
Yes, right. Yeah, I keep debating whether I should be taking turmeric or not as a supplement. I had a bottle that we pulled out yesterday. I used to. Yeah, I used to think it was really important. And then I kind of started thinking, I guess, a little more holistically. And Dr. Walter Longo talked about how he said, if you're from Germany, for example, and my DNA is from there, he said, you probably shouldn't be eating something like turmeric because it didn't exist there. And he says, eat the foods that were available to your ancestors. So then I started thinking, maybe there's no reason for me to be taking this if I don't have some condition that I'm trying to treat with it. So anyway, I don't really know. Ellery started taking it yesterday because when Holden had a concussion, the doctor said, you need a lot of turmeric. Anti-inflammatory, very good. So anyway, we pulled that out and she started taking it. So I popped one myself. Thought maybe I'll get back on it. All right, let's do one more weather report and then we will move on. And that is, no, we're going to stop there. Oh, no, here, one more thing. This is kind of interesting, I think. Farmers in northwestern Germany, Lower Saxony, speaking of Germany, and speaking of plant-based news, where this is also from, and speaking of pig cheeks and pig stomachs, and pig bellies, those farmers will be supported to transition away from pig farming as the country seeks to make its agricultural sector more diversified and sustainable. That's a direct quote from the plant-based news article. So, I mean, we talk about this all the time, right? Farmers, they're subsidized and they're rewarded for animal products, and we don't see that happening with plant products. And this, I don't know if this is the first such example. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure there are other ones that are minor, but people are excited about this. They say it's a great example of creating a just transition for livestock farmers, which will be essential to ensure shifts to lower meat, more plant-based diets are fair for everyone. And apparently the pig farming companies are experiencing great economic uncertainty, not least due to the falling demand for pork. So that's evidenced by, we just said, people making all these different pork products, and especially in Germany, Europe overall, but Germany specifically, the plant-based meat stuff is just cruising. So I'm not really surprised that this kind of shift is happening there, and it's good. Hopefully, I mean, they said it's a template for Europe to follow, and then hopefully over here as well.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. I guess it's time to pay off the little teaser we left earlier.
Before we do, in part because this is a new commenter, I think. We got a couple people who are coming out who aren't regular commenters today. Ryan Conifer says that as a GI nurse, if these patients just switched to a plant-based diet, they would probably need neither.
Right. I was kind of implying that when I said diet that's indigestion causing. Yeah, great point. I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have, when I was in high school, I had acid reflux. I don't know if that's the same as indigestion or not. And I started taking Prevacid, some kind of pharmaceutical. That was the solution. But looking back, I'm sure it was diet related. I don't know. I haven't had that in ever since then.
Maybe from microwaving your
Yeah.
your styrofoam noodle cups.
Very likely.
Man,
That
why
or
does my
any
stomach
other
feel weird?
All right. So here we go. If you hung with us because of my little teaser, then it worked. This is from Best Life Online, where we used to pull lots of articles like this. But
I love Best Life.
Yeah. I still look at it about once a week and usually can't find anything at all. But this today I had to do. The gross reason you should never make your bed right after waking. And then subheadline, waiting 30 minutes to do the chore can boost your health, experts say. What do you think it is, though? You probably read the article, right?
Well, I read the article, but I was genuinely confused about this. I wasn't sure if it was something about the habit, because the whole making the bed thing, like why it became so popular is that it's like a little win that kind of sets you up for the day, kind of clean slate. It's
it
like
tells the day you're gonna, when you come across little decisions.
I'm gonna own this day.
Exactly.
So
if you have a little decision, you're gonna do the thing. You're not gonna get lazy on it. You're just gonna do it because it's got to be done.
So I thought maybe like if you waited a half an hour because you like get out of the grogginess and start your day and then do it, then it's like a better outcome. But no, that's not it at all. That's not it at all.
I similarly was trying to think of what it could be, and I thought maybe it gives you time to go make your protein drink, your complement protein, so you can have your 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking, and not get slowed down by the bed making. Right. But no, it's none of those things. The answer is dust mites. That's the main answer. They're arachnids, which I did not know at all. Microscopic, relatives of ticks and spiders. Average person has 1.5 million dust mites in their bed, but everyone has some dust mites. All beds have dust mites, they say. And listen to this, they produce...
Everything does, right? I mean, like furniture.
Yeah, if they get in your bed, they must get on everything else, right? Is that just everywhere? But they produce 2 times their body weight in fecal matter. So that's not very good either in your bed.
No. That's gross, man. Mattresses are gross.
And that's really what the article is saying, is that mattresses and beds are gross. The average person sweats 500 milliliters per night, which is a tremendous amount. I think a 12-ounce soda is like 330 milliliters. So that'd be 1.5 of those sweat in your bed every night.
Oh my God.
And a lot of people, I'm not speaking for my household necessarily, but I think it's easy to go a few months without changing your sheets. You just get caught up in life.
A lot of people on that. Is that right?
I'm not speaking for us. I really don't know how often we do it.
Months?
I think on average it's a few weeks, which is normal, and what they recommend later in this article, once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks is kind of our cycle.
But I just think there's times when you get caught up and stuff's going on, and then you realize after a month that you haven't done it. So
man, you change your pillow every couple of weeks. Like you don't think to change your sheets?
You're right. I change the pillow maybe more frequently than the sheets. That's untrue. And I think Erin often is one who does this, so I'm endlessly grateful that she does it. Although it usually takes 2 people to get the sheets on it, because it's never a fun thing putting them on.
Backtracking that gratitude.
But anyway, the point is, if you don't leave the bed unmade, if you don't leave it ventilated, basically, for a while after each night, then you're just creating an environment where those things fester. And, night after night after night, I'll keep dumping 500 milliliters of sweat in there, giving them food. I'm sure they get nutrients out of that sweat. You're just creating a colony of these things and their fecal matter and all that. So that's why it's bad. Now, what actually happens bad, I don't really know. It says there are allergens, allergic proteins. Does anyone get sick, though, and the reason is because they slept in their dirty bed too long?
Well, allergies, asthma, I think it just irritates your health, right?
Okay. Yeah, because they're the people who are the highest risk. It says, here, 10% of the population suffers from dust mite allergies. 8% have asthma. So those...
I have dust mite allergies. I have dust allergies, so I assume it's dust mite allergies. Man, I can...
probably the same thing.
I mean, if I just put on a sweater that I haven't worn in a couple months, I'll instantly start sneezing.
Yeah, I'm very similar, and I never really thought it was dust mites, but I just thought it was. I don't know what I thought it was. They produce proteins that can trigger reactions causing symptoms like sneezing, itching, congestion, and even asthma attacks. So anyway, all these sleep experts are saying this is important. Richard Prasad, sleep and mattress expert and the CEO of Sleep 365, says that on sunny days, he will regularly strip his own bed to let the mattress spend a few hours in the sunlight. So look at that. A CEO stripping his own bed just shows you how important it must be.
He doesn't have a cleaner doing that for him. He's doing it himself.
No, right. That's how important it is. Apparently sunlight is important. And I always have had a sense of this, and I never really quite knew why, but I thought it's probably not good when we leave the shades down in the bedroom all day, which is easy to do because if we don't put them up in the morning, we don't often get back to the bedroom at night. I always thought it doesn't seem good to have a dark environment in there all the time. Apparently the sunlight is an underrated antibacterial disinfectant that can help kill the bacteria and mites. So good idea to let the sun come into the bedroom. And most importantly, don't make that bed first thing. That's not most important. That's just kind of third in importance behind changing your sheets. Number one for sure.
Man, I'm gonna change my sheets tonight. This is grossing me out.
Would you change your habit though, Doug? What if that's your big morning thing? They do mention the morning routine in here somewhere. I'm trying to find that.
We're probably in that 30-minute. We don't make it the second we get out of bed.
Mm-hmm. That's how I've been for many years. It's just hard to do the second you get out.
Yeah.
But then
we get out at different times too. Like usually I get out early to run or whatever. And so we make it when we get dressed, which is genuinely at least half an hour after getting out of bed.
Right. Yeah. So they said this practice symbolizes a minor shift in our morning routine that could foster a significant leap toward better sleep hygiene and overall wellness. So yeah.
There you go.
But again, I think it was what's the Gretchen Rubin book about happiness? I
do not know.
Let's find it here real quick.
While you're doing that, Ryan coming in with another clutch comment. If you have good windows, they will block the UV light that does the disinfecting.
So then you got to open the windows all the way, letting in more pests potentially.
More dust, more dirt.
Monarchs probably get in.
More grime from the city.
Right. Pollen. You can't win.
Man, there's nothing like opening your house up though after it's been closed up for a few weeks, letting some fresh air in. Love that.
Not me. I hate breezes in my house. I really cannot stand them. But if you open the windows when you're not there and then come back and close it, then it's good. The Happiness Project is the book by Gretchen Rubin. Nice little book. Got me inspired to focus on happiness. Anyway, in there is where she points out that making your bed is associated with more happiness. I don't know if it causes it or if it's more just correlated that happy people tend to make their beds. That I could see that happening for sure. But anyway, the point is probably should do it. Don't do it right away.
Have you always made your bed? Did you make your bed in college or as a bachelor?
I think I was okay at that. I was probably better than most. We did it more often than most college kids and bachelors, college males and bachelors. But never obsessed about it.
Yeah.
What about you? You probably didn't.
No, I definitely didn't.
No. Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Well, that's all right. Got to sow your wild oats.
That's it. I was just killing the dust mites, man.
Yeah, right.
Doing it for my health.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, well then that's our show. That's the middle of the week. Thank goodness. Tomorrow's Thursday. That'll be nice. And that's it. I'll put this episode up probably not till tomorrow morning, but maybe I'll put it up later today. We'll see. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to the new listeners, new commenters. Always good to have new people on here. And that's it. We'll catch you tomorrow.
See you for the best show of the week.
That's right. You got it.